stream today, and for this edition, installment, whatever you call it, I'll be playing the classic Famicom Disk System game Yume Koujou Doki Doki Panic. Of course, you might know this game as Super Mario Bros. 2 or Super Mario Bros. USA. But yeah, we actually get an animated cutscene in this version of the game, which is something that was cut out of the reworking into Mario game. So you could see there the twins Picky and Pocky. Their family is now rushing in to rescue them from the storybook. Oh yes, side B. Here we go, I'll just flip my floppy disk over. Tony, whoops, wrong button. Tony, welcome. Given welcome. I did it right? Yeah. Please wait. Oh. Okay. That's interesting. Eh? What's that gonna do? So I'll swap back over. Oh, okay, it's working. Whew. What a relief. These magnetic disk-based systems sometimes, finicky. Anyway, so yeah, we've got the 4 playable characters here. And the game actually keeps track of your progress per character on a per character basis. So to really get the true ending, you actually need to beat the whole game as all 4 of them. So I'm definitely not going to do that in this stream. And continuing my theme this year of highlighting women characters, I'll probably just stick to Mama and Lina. So let's go Mama first. Yes? Okay, cool. So, good to hear you hacking your NES Mini, Tony. That's awesome. Okay, so here we are. Doki Doki Panic. Wee-hee. So yeah, this, obviously this game was reskinned to be Mario 2. You probably know the full story. There's parts of the story that didn't come out until more recently, so, you know, it was discovered at some point that, you know, because the... oh, wow, okay. Yeah, so everyone knows that this is not a real Mario game, quote-unquote, because it started as this before being converted, but there's a subtlety to the story that was recently revealed in that the game in its in its most initial prototype stages was sort of a prototype or demo for vertical scrolling as opposed to the horizontal scrolling of Mario 1. Yeep. Okay, so what do I... Okay, gives me extra. Oh, okay. Yeah, I have played Mario 2 a bit. It's actually kind of nostalgic for me because I only ever played the All-Stars version on the SNES. And we never owned it. It was only at friends' or cousins' houses that we played it. But yeah, so it seems exotic to me and also familiar. So it's nice. Of course, that means I'm used to the 16-bit upgraded version, and this is the very earliest. Oh boy, that's not... that's not too... yeah, okay, so blackface. We are going to talk about Japanese attitudes to portrayals of certain types of characters. Oh, nuts. As we play, because that's not the first time that's going to come up in this game. Yeah, Japanese media sometimes has depictions of blackface long past the point where it's considered inappropriate in other parts of the world. And the same goes for issues of gender identity, and it's no secret that the first boss of this game, Birdo, is a trans woman. In fact, part of the reason I picked this game for today's play is because March 31st was the International Day of... I don't know if it's international, but the day of transgender visibility. Oops. And one of the more visible trans video game characters is Birdo, and one of the earliest too. Oh, these things are troublesome. They're called, oh gosh, I got some data files here on my internet computer device. Dang it, it's not here. Hang on. Let me pull up a data file. Yes, this character is called Hoopster. Yes, excellent. I'm glad I took the time to do that. Oh, I even got up to 4 healths. Interesting. Okay, so here we are at Birdo. And Birdo is great. Oh no! Look out! Oh yeah, super jump. I forgot about that. Okay, so I have played this game before. I know what to do. You jump on an egg, grab it, and throw it back. Whoops, I missed. So normally I will do blind playthroughs of games. In this case, I haven't really gotten too far in this game, or indeed I haven't really played Doki Doki Panic, that version, really at all. So in that sense, this is new for me, but I'm quite familiar with game mechanics and such. Oops, ow. So it's probably the old video game 3 hits. Okay. So yeah, Birdo, surprisingly, you can see the mask is a different shape to what it is in Mario 2, where it's like a big bird head. Oh, I actually got a 1-up out of that. The slot machine looks a lot more bare bones in this version. They really spruced up the graphics for this part in Mario 2. Mario USA, I should say. Well, I don't know what I should say really. It's got 2 different names. It's got a lot of different names. It's Super Mario Advance. It's BS Super Mario USA. It's had a lot of re-releases, and all of them have improved in some way. Graphics, etc. The BS version has extra cutscenes, in fact, so that kind of makes up for the original release lacking them compared to this. I don't know, there's so much to talk about with this game, I hardly know where to start. So let's start with the development background, I suppose. Yeah. Oops. Oh, nuts. Sorry, Mama. So like I said, from its earlier stages, we think that... I mean, you can never be 100% sure, but going off certain statements, it seems that Nintendo was, after Mario 1, they were experimenting with, vertical scrolling, as opposed to horizontal scrolling, and this game ended up having both, but yes, give me the heart, thank you. And yeah, getting the coins in this area, which is called subspace, lets you have more goes at the slot machine at the end of the level. And yeah, slot machine mechanics in games are annoying, but whatever. Ah, they respawn, fantastic. So I need a key to get in that door. Maybe I can dig one up? Nope. So how about this jar, which the jars work similarly to warp pipes in Mario, I guess. Yeah, and so once you get the key, the Phanto mask then chases you while you have it, until you are able to use it. And the Phantos look a lot scarier in... Oh yeah, the star. I don't know what triggers the star. It's like you defeating a certain number of enemies or something. But yeah, you might notice if you're familiar with Mario 2 that the music for the invincibility from the star is different. They added a couple of Mario music themes in that version. Like in Subspace, for example, you get a variation of the Mario theme if you listen. So it's quite a different song. Oh. Okay, so the bricks still existed in the Subspace version of this area. It's like a alternate world, kind of. I don't really know the lore reasons, but yeah, here's an example of how interaction with enemies in this game can be used to help you progress. Oops. Yeah, you can ride them, and then when they jump, you jump off. I could also use my super jump, so maybe I'll try that. Oops. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I guess the point of I was saying about the development of the game. For a long time, people were like, "Oh, that's not a real Mario game because it was something else originally, and then just converted." Aside from the fact that a lot of elements from this have been adopted by the greater Mario series and lived well on long past the lifetime of this game. That tidbit that it was at some point intended to form the basis for the next Mario game kind of adds to the credibility of it for whoever, for some weird reason, like views this game as lesser than the quote-unquote real Mario games. In my opinion, this is better than any of the real Mario games, quote-unquote. It's a lot more interesting, the kinds of things you do, the enemy interaction, like I said, the fact that you can pick up and throw things as part of gameplay, and that gets used in interesting enemy interactions and also, world things. Dang. We just saw picking up the bombs before and using those to break down walls. That's nothing like anything in any Mario game, really. And they're a limited resource too. Oh, dang it. The throwing is... not as far as I expect. I don't think the characters have different throwing abilities, but they have different speeds of pulling, of lifting. So Papa is the strongest, and he was converted into Toad for Mario 2. Imagine is the sort of protagonist character, kind of the boy. He was converted into Mario, so he's just got average stats in all things. Mama became Luigi, which is kind of funny when you think about it, considering memes and the Mario World cartoon, the episode Mama Luigi. But yeah, she doesn't do the leg flailing thing that makes Luigi so funny to watch and play as, where his little feetsies go bloop, 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 bloop when you jump. But yeah, she does have a slightly floaty jump, floatier than the other two. But then Lina, of course, became Peach, and she has the floatiest jump of all. She has a quite long period of gliding. And we'll see that in a bit. I guess, I don't know when I get the opportunity to change, maybe between worlds, or possibly if I die, if I lose all my lives. So we'll see. Big building, interesting. So let's try going in there through this door. Ta-da! Yeah, so I think some of these areas, here we go. Some of these areas were changed in the SNES version to, called back slightly more to Donkey Kong, because there's like girders and stuff, which is nice and adds to that connection. Also, these kind of blocks, which look like masks in this version, were changed to mushrooms to make it more Mario-y for Mario 2. Now, we can see here the enemy character, what's it called, a Spark? I think it's a Spark, something like that. Yeah, Spark. So, this is the basis by which good friend I am given in the somewhat recent past, decided to add this game to the list of notable Donkey Kong related works for his website dkgerda.com, a site with which I am loosely affiliated. Oh yeah, Super Jump, I keep forgetting. Okay, great. So yeah, the sparks are ostensibly the same character as what appeared in Donkey Kong Jr., where you see them in the industrial level or whatever. Like, yeah. You know what? Come to think of it, I haven't played Junior in quite a while. So this is cool. You climb all the way up this tower to grab the key, and then you fall all the way back down to use it. And this Shy Guy, some of them turn back at the edges of platforms, but I think the red ones continue walking. And I think it's the same with Sniffets too. Those were the guys shooting at me with their bullet snouts. These guys. They come in different colors too, which I think also affects their behavior. And notably, there is one instance of, I think it's a grey one in the whole game, or is it a red one? Yeah, I don't know. The different colored ones have different entries in the Japanese manual for some reason. Gibbon says, those masks are some of the most terrifying things to ever be in a Mario game. Yeah, the way they chase you around relentlessly. Certainly memorable to the young players of these games. Yeah, certainly. Okay, bomb. That's one thing that was changed on the conversion to Mario 2. The bomb sound effect. Oh, and I apologize for the screen flashing. Yeah, the bomb sound effect, they added a B to make it the word bomb. So this is Mouser. He's a mouse who throws bombs. Oh, I can just grab them midair. That's fantastic. I don't have to jump on them like that. Yeah, take that. Is that Jingle in Mario 2? I'm not sure. Anyway, gosh, where was I? There's so much, like I said, there's so much to talk about. Yeah, there we go. So I got a chance. Oh, seriously? If I want to place Lina, I have to go all the way back to the start? Oh, gosh. You know what? I can use a warp. I'm going to do that. So on the third level of Chapter 1, they're called chapters, not worlds, because it's a whole storybook aesthetic. I'll get to that. I'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah, I know there's warps in this game. So yeah, this is the Princess Peach equivalent, like I was saying. The family, yeah, so Lina, like Peach, runs slowest and pulls things up slowest as well, but she does have the floaty jump, which helps a lot with platforming, especially for inexperienced players. So I don't know, you could say that that was the intention of making the girl character like beginner friendly, because girls are not as good at games. Like that's the theory behind why Peach has those abilities, but well, whatever. Yeah, okay, so let's see. I think it's in chapter 3. I've got it over here. Hang on a second. I'll pause. Oh, that's nice. It cuts the melody track and just leaves the back beat during the pause screen. That's really cute. Okay, yeah, World 1-3. Don't go in the building. There's a jar beyond the door. And get a potion. Okay, alright, I see. Alright, I can handle that. But we just got to get up to that building part first. Alright. So yeah, this is the sort of game that is crying out for a multiplayer mode in a remake because of the different playable characters, but that never ever happened. And I felt sure that there must be a ROM hack that would have had multiplayer support even, but as far as I could tell, nothing like that had been done, unfortunately. I would have been really into co-op, co-op Doki Doki Panic or Mario USA. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what you call it. Yeah, let's go to subspace. Get ourselves heart. Not that it lasts beyond the level anyway. But yeah, it's like if you don't pick up the vegetables in this version of the world, then they'll be available in subspace for you to get coins for bonuses. So it's like a trade-off thing. Yes, okay, so let's see. Lina. So I'm Lina right now. Probably not related to the character from the Mario movie, Lina. Lena, whatever. I was gonna check whether their names are spelled the same in Japanese, but I forgot to confirm that. So let's just say that they are, but I don't know. They're obviously very different characters. Like I said on, oh gosh, I guess it was the the Super Jump podcast episode that I was on with Gibbon, with our friend Mitchell Wolf. That Lina in the movie, the closest thing we could think of to compare her to was probably Kamek, at least the way that he's depicted in Yoshi's Island, and also I noticed he's sort of that right-hand man, sort of advisor archetype in some manga of Super Mario World at the period, since I've been looking through manga so much recently. Okay, so we definitely need to grab this Pidgeot to make it across here. Yeah, steal the carpet. Nice. Ouch. Dang. So these are Beezies, I think? Beezits? Bezos. Yeah, so like I was saying before, a lot of the elements of this game and enemy characters and so on have been adopted into the Mario series and get other appearances down the line. I guess the most prominent one's probably the Bob-omb, but you've also got like Pokies and Shy Guys, obviously, although they don't really show up too much in main Mario games. Notice how inside this jar the walls are like giant pixels. I find that pretty cool, even though it's not really shaped the same as the jar on the outside. Anyway, yeah, it's not too hard to avoid Phantos as long as you're not panicking, which you often are when you're a child. Oops, dang. Sniff it, man. Yes, okay, what was I saying? Things. A lot of things, I guess. So Lina, I was talking about the family who are the characters in this game. Actually, before I go any further, I want to mention Drew Mackey, who... Oops. So some things don't get thrown as far. I guess the bigger vegetables just drop sooner, but you can, like... I noticed when I had Birdo's eggs earlier, they had more of an arc. Anyway, there's a great blog called Back to the Cereal Box. Oh gosh. No, not getting that. Which, yeah, I think the guy's name is Drew Mackey. Great blog, highly recommended. He scanned the manual for this game and has some analysis on it. It's a great blog full of, like, you know, nostalgic reminiscences and such, and perspectives. Let's see, so what's this? Another Birdo, I think? Yeah. So, yeah, I don't really know if... Because you do make Birdos of other colours even in this game. Yeah, I guess the eggs are heavier, so they get thrown downwards by the characters because they can't heft them quite as much. Yeah, I don't know the justification for the different coloured Birdos in this game and elsewhere. Oh no, she threw it. So maybe if I'm running when I throw it, it'll go further. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Physics, sort of. Yeah, no bonus. It's funny, all these jingles and tunes, because I associate them so much with Mario and Mario 2, that really this game, as it is like in this state, has nothing to do with Mario at all. Sure, there was a star that appeared for the invincibility, but you know, that's hardly universal. That's hardly not universal. It is universal, whatever. Yeah. What are these fish called? I have all my important documents. Yeah, trouter. They're called trouters because they're like trout, I guess. Do trout even jump up waterfalls? It's more of a salmon thing, isn't it? I don't know the difference. I'm not a fish guy. Oh yeah, that's something that this game okay. So this game has a few unique elements compared to Mario 2 that didn't make the transition. And one of them is that whenever you kill an enemy, they have this sound effect like they're screaming, which I guess is a little disturbing, but it's a feature. Okay, so here's the magic lamp I have, which of course in Mario 2 they changed them to potions, magic potions or whatever. So yeah, if I am in subspace when I go in this jar, warp. So now we're in chapter 4. We'll let Mama go through the game normally, and I guess Lina can be the super warper character. So yeah, we've jumped way ahead to a more difficult stage, and there's ice everywhere. Those little blobby fellas are called, I think, fluffies. Hang on a sec, flurries. And that's one of the characters that never has much of a presence in the Mario series outside of this game. Okay, so yeah, the family dynamic is nice, isn't it? You get all different members of a family to play as, so you can imagine that being a kind of positive point for families playing the game, in that they could see themselves represented. Isn't that nice to have representation in a video game of someone who's like you? But yeah, in this case, yeah, you got the Mama and Papa, who are the two older couple, and you also have a younger male and female. As we said, Imogen. Say a carrot, that's new. Okay, so I know what's happening here. And I don't want to... Oops! There goes our lamp. Okay. But this... The rocket. Like... You'd never expect that, unless you read the manual. And then it just explodes. Okay, what's coming up here? This is a boss? I guess not. That was a prelude to the boss. Yeah, the M on the side of the cannon thing, it stands for Mamu, who is the antagonist of this game. You see him in the manual. Yeah, so the family, it's nice. The main character, like I said, Imogen, he's the Mario type, the all-rounder. He's very much a mascot type character for this game. In terms of, like, in the manual, a lot of artwork shows him doing stuff. And so he is the son of Mama and Papa, and Lina here is his girlfriend. So not directly related to the family, but yeah. And those guys can't jump, so they can't get me. I guess that was the boss. It was just sort of a gauntlet. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Okay. Yeah, I like one-ups, sure. So yeah, warping doesn't get you to the sort of level select screen, character select screen. You got to complete a world legitimately to do that, like I did with Mama. Oh my. Hey mama, hey mama, hey mama. Yeah, go watch Moldova's entry in Eurovision from 2017, it's fantastic. You know the Epic Sax Guy meme? It's like him again. That band came back Sunstroke Project. Yeah, great stuff. Okay. Oh, the whale! Fantastic. I love an animal body. Hello. Can imagine that we're playing Donkey Kong Country Returns. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Apparently that kills you. I did not know that. So yeah, that title card, it appears to be like a book. That's because of the whole storybook thing, which is another thing that was lost in the transition. So that aesthetic choice does not carry through to Mario 2. There are, I don't know what they are instead, like just cards or something. No thematic resonance or whatever. So don't run into the side of the water jet, but you can stand on top of it. Just like the enemies, actually. You can always stand on top of an enemy, unless they're spiky. That does come up sometimes. There's a hedgehog enemy later on. Oh. Oops. Okay. That jar's got to be important. Nope, I was wrong. Whatever. Another rocket? Yeah, nice. See, I don't know what my goal is here. To reach the end of the game. Now the star, that'll help me. See, one way to beat this part is to ride on the cannon over this spike trap. Those are the hedgehogs I was talking about, actually. Yeah, the rockets. They just sort of happen. Yeah, here we go. So red Birdo. And you got to be careful picking up those eggs not to fall in the pit at the end. Also, this one throws 2 eggs at a time. Ouch. As you can see. I still got 2 lives left. So Birdo has turned from boss to mini-boss. Oh no, I guess she was a boss in the first stage. Or mini-boss. I don't know, whatever. End of a level, but not world. I don't know, it's that kind of distinction. So yeah, this one spits fireballs too. Nasty. Ooh, health please. Thank you. So you're safe down here. You're only in danger if you go up to challenge the boss directly. I think that's a smart thing. Yeah, so throwing the eggs from a standing position, they just fall down. But if I'm running, I think they go further. Let's test that. Ooh, okay, not quite. Maybe jumping? Oh, whatever. I don't understand how this game works. Let's just take care of this thing. Yeah. Birdo, I love you, but we gotta... Whoops. Oops. Hang on a sec. Ugh. Okay, yes, I am using save states. No shame. I say about myself. Yes, okay, what was I saying? So, let's see, I actually mentioned this Legacy of the Wizard game during a recent stream because it was developed by the same... Oh, Birdo's just here. Weird. Oh, I remember this bit. I'd see, I think... The other thing is that I watched the episode of Game Center CX where the chief played this game, and yeah, that's the solution to that little puzzle, which he took a while to figure out. Yeah. So this is not a voyage of discovery for me, this is just me playing the game. And yeah, enjoying these characters from the original iteration. Whoops. Yeah, so you can't float if you've fallen off the surface, you have to jump to be able to float. 1 life left, gotta get through this section. So about the characters, at least the 4 main playable characters, they aren't Nintendo originals. So a lot of people just call this game Doki Doki Panic, but before the Doki Doki Panic part of the title is the, I guess you'd call it a super title, or I don't know, it's just part of the title. Yume Koujou, which means Dream Factory. So if you've seen the cover of this box, the box cover of this game, it's got a Fuji TV logo at the bottom, because, oops, dang. Yes, okay, you get another chance at 0. That's something that happens half the time in games. Sometimes 0 is your last chance, sometimes 1 is your last chance. I think that might be an East versus West thing, possibly. Yeah, so the Dream Factory concept was an event that Fuji TV was doing in 1987. I don't really know much about it, but they created these mascot characters to represent... Oh, I don't know what they represent. They're at the event. Whatever the event was, I am woefully unprepared, but yeah. I think sometimes that causes problems with like referring to this game in terms of licensing, because Nintendo doesn't really own the characters or the name Yume Koujou specifically. Yeah, that was not a good place to use that lamp. I didn't get a heart out of it, unfortunately. So here we see the difference between red and pink Shy Guys. The pink one turns around, the red one keeps going. And I believe that actually carries through... Well, not carries through, but that aspect was present in... well, I think it was in Mario 1, but it's certainly in later games where you get the Noko Nokos, the Koopa Troopers, who... green ones will... just walk off an edge, but red ones, I guess it's the other way around. Yeah, because the red ones are sort of smarter, I guess, and they don't just walk off into a pit. When they hit the edge of a platform, they turn around. Hey, Zach's here. Okay, I think I need to go down. Welcome, Zach. Oops. Oh, that's game over. I was writing it down, so just to get through this bit... Come on, come on. The button's not working. Hold on, tick. Rewind. Oh, I set it up weird. Wait, is that right? What's going on? I want to rewind so I can undo my mistake. Please, please, please work. It worked. Wonderful. Okay. Okay. I guess the Phantos are smarter than I gave them credit for. Ah. Okay. Yeah, so Dream Factory stuff. I guess, yeah, the point is the characters were pre-existing. Beep. And yeah, it was like a collaboration between Nintendo and Fuji TV that made this game with those characters as the protagonists. I don't know how many of them were made for the Dream Factory event. Yes, I am interested, actually. Oh, okay. Well, that was weird. There was no challenge there. Oh, gosh! The challenge comes after the door. Interesting. Alright, this is my last life, isn't it? Yeah, Zach's saying he got Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence. What? You don't have a PS2? I agree it's a nice collector's item. I guess it's been superseded by the HD version, which is, I think, based on the Subsistence release. Boom! Oopsie, this one's hard. I remember Arino being stuck on this for a long time. Arino. I find it really hard to pronounce Arino's name. You know, Arino Koujou. Ah, nuts. Yes, much cheating happening here. I apologize. Oh, it's region locked. Oh, it's a Japanese copy of Subsistence. Right, you can actually get around that. I've read. I was looking into it for my own PS2, which I haven't yet received. But yeah, playing other region games that were exclusive to other markets. Oh, this is tough. This is tough. Yeah, this is Fry Guy. A lot of the characters in this game, at least the ones from Mario 2, of course... Oh, man, okay, hang on. Hang on. See, I did damage after my own death. Okay. Oh, no, 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 no. Okay. I just have to concentrate for a bit. Good. Okay, and when it's over on the other side of the screen, I'll do this. Ah. Yep, I got up to that phase. Oops. Yeah, that's right. The original MSX Metal Gear games are a bonus on Subsistence, or at least one of them is on one of them. I forget, but they're in the HD collection. Okay, this is the tough bit. Oh. Ooh. Gotta lure them over, I think. You tricky little bugger. Cheeky. Very cheeky. Okay. Let's do this. Use my float to my advantage. Okay, and then... Excellent. 2 in 1 hit. And then... Oh, they're getting faster. Yep. I won after my death. Okay, they seem to be a little trapped. Whoops. Yep, okay, good. Oh. Okay, okay. Whoa, 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 whoa. That almost got me. Whoa, the jumps are getting crazy. Okay. Cool. Alright, yes, okay. What's going on? So yes, we'll go back to an easier part of the game now with Mama. I guess we'll have Lina do the second half of the game and Mama do the first half, but we'll swap them out, I guess? I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if I'll get through the whole thing. The difficulty does ramp up, as you'd expect. Anyway, here we are in the desert region. Nice change of pace. Got the snake enemies. Got me dying. Oh, game over. Okay. Well, that'll give me a refill of lives. Continue, please. Good. Nice stars in the sky there. Ah, yeah, that's how I did stars. See how they have so few pixels to work with? I have to make those kind of choices when I do pixel art because my style is to have the absolute bare minimum pixels. My humans are 5x9. Yeah, you might see some of those artworks on my Tumblr. Yeah, stuff. Oh boy. Yeah, I gotta be more careful. Ouch. Okay, so let's see. I talked about the family. There's other members, or at least affiliates of the family that I haven't mentioned because during the intro you would have seen Mamu. Actually, do you see Mamu in the intro? I don't think you do. I hope there's a heart here. There is, good. But I already pulled up all the vegetables foolishly, so no coins for me. Which means no one-ups at the slot game. Yeah, so the plot of this game is that, let's just explain it. The twins, the like child baby twins, Picky and Pocky, who are Mama and Papa's children, and I guess little siblings, I don't actually know if they're male or female, little siblings of Imagine. Oh yeah, here we go. This is a cool little mechanic. You use the plucking maneuver to dig your way through the sand. It's really cool, and as you do so, the Shy Guys, or Hey-Hos, are there wandering back and forward, and they're going to be falling down the gaps that you make. So yeah, it's an interesting bit of vertically oriented platforming and in a downward direction. Yeah, so Picky and Pocky, they find a magical storybook that for some reason, I don't know where they found it, but gets them in a whole heck of a lot of trouble, because in it is the story of Mamu and this world that we're in now, which in Mario 2 is called Subcon. I'm not actually sure what it's called in this Doki Doki Panic, but we'll call it Subcon for simplicity's sake. And so the storybook tells the story of this world and how Mamu, or Wart as we in the West know him, except in Link's Awakening, where he has a cameo appearance and they didn't bother to like check the localization and he's just called Mamu. Yeah, lazy stuff. Yes, no bonus, don't taunt me. So yeah, Mamu, he's like a bad guy. He has there's this thing called the Dream Factory, like the name of the event, and was transferred into like an actual device in the game's plot in more ways than one. You see it in the final boss room, this Dream Factory machine, the Dream Machine, I guess, is what it's called, actually. Pumpkins, that's rare. What's this about? Ow! How dare you, sir. Oh, please, I don't want to see that. I do like the smiley face in the background there. I guess that's a reference to the thing that you pull up there. So, interesting stuff. Yeah, so Mamu, there's this whole thing where, like, the residents of this world figured out that dreams affect their reality in some way. So they made a machine. Yeah, I have no shame, I'm rewinding that. They made a machine to make sure that everyone has good dreams. But Mamu perverted it and, oopsie. Yeah, okay, super jump. And so he turned the dream machine into the nightmare machine. And as a result, everyone is sad. So, oopsie. Dang, this is tricky. Whoa, that was creepy, but yeah, that's an extra life. And I didn't manage to get through that wall. I wonder if it'll respawn. It does, excellent. Okay, so the nightmare machine, that's what you see in the boss room, and you gotta stop it. Of course, all those events are things that played out within the story. The problem arises because Picky and Pocky accidentally rip out the final page of the story. So Mamu being defeated is undone, and then he uses some weird powers to, let's see. It's depicted in the manual, and which you can see on the back of the Cereal Box blog post. I don't know what it's called. Just leave you on some chill music here for a minute. Back of the Cereal Box. The happiest Arabian family in video gamedom is the title of the post. So go check that out. It's got a whole scan of the manual and some interesting analysis and reminiscences, as I said. Oh, talk about your damage boost. Alright, this is tricky. Let's dispatch a few of these guys. Oh yeah, they're just gonna come right back. Dang. Okay, so yeah, what was I saying? Nightmare Machine, blah blah blah. Here's a Pokey, yes, you might know them from Mario. Oh gosh, let's just run. Nope, that didn't work. Okay, second try. Same as the first. Yeah, so Mamu reaches out of the book somehow, and because he's been empowered by the last page being removed, and he grabs Picky and Pocky and sort of takes them hostage or whatever, I guess, I don't know. And so yeah, these two characters, they're removed completely from the Mario 2 what do you call it? What do you call it? What they did to this game? They plucked out the characters and replaced them. Anyway, whatever. So those two dudes. Am I still talking about Birdo? I haven't really started talking about Birdo, to be honest. But that does come up in Drew Mackey's writings about it, because he often talks about reversioned it. That's a good word, Zach, yeah. Yeah, he talks about how his identity as a gay man was influenced by being able to play as Peach in this game, and that sort of opened up for him some, you know, feelings and stuff. And yeah, it's interesting reading about that. So the trick to not having a Shy Guy drop on your head is to alternate which ones you're digging up so that they have a zigzag path, and I took the wrong path. So oh yes, very good point. Let me finish talking about the characters first, because there's one more character who is not in the Mario reversion, or whatever we're going to say, and that is the monkey guy, because you might have seen in the intro cutscene that after Picky and Pocky are taken by Mamu, there's a monkey in the room with them, and a very well-dressed monkey, I might say. It appears to be the family pet or something. Anyway, it's called Rusa, which is kind of a Dragon Ball level name pun, in that it's like an anagram of Saru, the Japanese word for monkey, with an elongated syllable added, which is I guess a common thing. Mamu, I've come to bargain, says Zach, yes. So yeah, there's the monkey, there's the twins, and the family, and there's some nice group artwork of all those characters standing together, which you can see on that blog post, actually. So yeah, by all means, go check that out. Oh boy. Okay, so let's see. So I haven't yet played Sonic and the Secret Rings, which Zach has brought up. He's saying that Sonic just ripped off this game with his plot, which is obviously a joke, but I will... oh man, hang on. Gibbon's home now, great, good. I haven't actually... Yes, okay. Okay, I have health now, so that'll make this a bit easier. So we do need this platform to get up here, although I could do it with a super jump, probably. That's something that Luigi can do in Super Paper Mario, actually. Eep. But only him for some reason. You know, they pick and choose what abilities are going to carry over. Like Peach's moveset in Melee and subsequent Smash games, where she grabs vegetables and stuff based on this, because she hasn't had as many playable appearances as the boys. Yeah, exactly. So the whole Arabian Nights kind of theme, it became quite prevalent in a lot of Japanese culture once. The 1001 Arabian Nights book was translated into Japanese sometime in the... I have no idea. It was the first half of the 20th century, I guess. I don't remember when exactly, but I learned something about it in the Osaka Museum of Ethnology, which is a very, very fascinating museum to visit, and I highly recommend it if you're ever in the area. They have objects from all sorts of cultures all over the world. Let's try and climb on a Bezo. Nope, they just slip out from under you. I want to get up there. Anyway, yeah, so that work being translated seemed to it caught on a lot, is what I'm saying. There was a lot of references to it in other works after it sort of became part of the culture. So it's a pretty common theme for various things, and so that whole like Arabian quote unquote mystical kind of aesthetic seeped into this game as well. Oh yeah, the power block. That is actually something that's from the Mario series. It was in Donkey Kong, of course. No, it was in, sorry, why did I say that? It was in Mario Brothers. The arcade game. Of course. So yeah, I overlooked that earlier. I don't know what you're talking about, Zach. John Leguizamo? I don't know what you mean. Yeah. So I found that really interesting. How you can trace this game back to Arabian Nights being translated. Oh, okay. Zach is quoting something that I haven't heard, which is Dwayne and Brando's Mario 2 rap. Sounds pretty interesting from Luigi's perspective. Okay. Alright, so before, the right path was the correct path. So maybe the left path is the correct path this time. Let's just try and get low enough. Oh, both were correct. How about that? Ooh, frantic. I really like how there's different kinds of gameplay things to do in this game. Yes, alright. So what was I saying? We talked about the twins. Ooh boy, this is gonna be tricky. Yeah, in the Mario version, the plot's pretty different. It's like Mario just has a dream and now he's in a dream world, and there's less of like an explicit context, which I think hurts the game. They add more context in the Satellaview Satellite SNES sort of remake thing, where there's extra cutscenes with new graphics and even voices thanks to the satellite uplink feature of the Satellaview. Yeah, BS Mario USA, good stuff. I don't know what the B stands for. Broadcast, maybe? I never did figure that out. So this seems to be another gauntlet kind of thing. Okay. So yeah, Sonic and the Secret Rings has that same Arabian Nights aesthetic where Ali Baba and genies and all that junk. Great stuff. No, I haven't really talked about all of Mamu's cameos since this game, Gibbon. I talked about the Link's Awakening one, where he's still called Mamu despite already being localized as Wart at that point. Let's see, what else did he appear in? I guess he's a lot of enemies from this game were in Super Mario Brothers and Friends When I Grow Up, which is an edutainment coloring book game for the computer, which seems to be heavily inspired by the cartoons of the time, and the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, of course, had a lot of Mario 2, Mario USA characters and enemies in it, because that was really all they had at the time was Mario 1 and Mario 2. So yeah, I like that he has that appearance in Link's Awakening, because there's also other Nintendo characters in there, but most of them, sorry, there's kind of a common link with some of them, at least. I mean, you've got Will Wright from bloody SimCity in there, but like there's an iteration of Kirby in Link's Awakening. So we're going to swap back to Lina now, as well as I don't know, chain jumps, which are called bow wows because they were, again, literally translating 1-1, Japanese name. Instead of going with what had previously been established, just as they did with Wart. But yeah, Wart is associated with Subcon as a dream world, and Link's Awakening is also a dream world, and Kirby's Dreamland, of course. So there's that thematic link, which is pretty interesting. So Gibbon's bringing up something here. He's saying there's a theory that Prince Froggy in Yoshi's Island is actually Mamu, which sounds pretty cool to me. Obviously, at that point, Yoshi's Island is kind of a prequel, so perhaps Mamu was younger. He does act a lot more like a frog in that game, but he's called a prince, at least in the English version, and he's got the crown in this game. So yeah, I'd buy it actually, especially because it's good stuff. Especially because so much. Ooh, lovely. 1-up. So much stuff was adopted by the Yoshi's Island series, which they're all just basically starting from Yoshi's Island, the one game. And how do I get rid of that block? Well, I didn't do it. Maybe there's a power block or something? Weird. I don't know. Okay. Oh, you're gonna fall down. Okay. Ow! How dare you? Oh yeah, that's interesting. Froggy is the only boss that doesn't explode, says Gibbon. And yes, you're totally right. A lot of the enemies in that game are derived from this. I was saying before how the Mario main series kind of took some of the enemies in this game and made them mainstays. Birdo's one. She kind of pops up as a playable character in several sort of sports games and stuff, although not as often as I'd like. So yeah, you got your Bob-ombs and your Pokey. But a lot of other enemies from this game don't ever really graduate in that way, you could say. Except that a lot of them do carry over into Yoshi's Island specifically. And from there, you've got Yoshi's Island DS, but then when Paper Mario and on some occasions Mario and Luigi, they need a lot of enemy characters to fill out a a roster of bad guys to fight. So they have a lot of carryover from the cast in this game of enemies. Yeep. And finally, Super Princess Peach. Then is kind of a Yoshi's Island successor in my eyes. Yeah, I love the combos when a vegetable goes on to hit multiple enemies. I think you can do sort of combo things in the advanced version. I'm not sure. They do add a lot of things for that version. Oops. Including voice acting, which is a little out of place, to be honest. Oh yeah, given remember when they tried to make Birdo a supporting Mario character? That's a really cool feature of Wario's Woods, where it's sort of, I see it as the story of, hey, what? Oh, was I supposed to take that out? I might have just missed a different warp, but that's okay. I just wanted to separate them somewhat. We'll just continue playing as Lina, I guess. Normally. Gosh. that's a big can of worms, Tony. I want to talk about that, actually. But yeah, having Birdo as a supporting character in Wario's Woods was cool, because that game is sort of like the B-team game. I guess headcanon for it is that this is what's happening in the Mushroom Kingdom while everyone else is away on Dinosaur Land in Super Mario World, because while Mario, Peach, Luigi and Bowser are all over there, you've got these other supporting characters who are carrying their own game, basically, with Toad being the protagonist and fighting against Wario, while being assisted by Wanda, or at least a fairy who is often portrayed in like mangas and spin-off material as being the same Wanda from Game Freak's Mario and Wario on the SNES mouse peripheral. Oh, I've done that twice now. And Toad's also being assisted by Birdo as like a partner character. Her picture's just in the corner of the screen. She doesn't really participate in gameplay so much, but yeah, it's like this weird sort of team of like secondary characters, which is really cool. I like the feel of that. I just got back from a long weekend in my hometown Wollongong, which is a much more humid atmosphere than I'm used to, and I think it's affected my health. Like my sinuses and stuff. I snored so much last night, it was awful. And now I'm all like hoarse and phlegmy. Anyway. So, yes, I did enjoy that Birdo had a role in Wario's Woods for sure. But to address Birdo specifically, as we've been talking about here. Oh, alright, that's okay. I'll take that hit. I'll get my extra health point. Where do I come back? Okay. Oh wow, Tony's being pretty vulnerable here. You okay with me reading that out? Yeah, because Birdo, she's an interesting case study, being an early, like, character who is explicitly an LGBT character. But especially in this era of games, and it hasn't improved that much since, but those kind of subjects were treated very insensitively. Okay, I won't say that it hasn't improved, because in the indie space there's been lots of creators who have been telling their stories in really interesting and profound ways through the medium of video games. For example, Anna Anthropy's game Dysphoria, which I considered playing on a stream, but I went with something more lighthearted and also less likely to get me banned on Twitch, because there's some nudity in it, I think. Oops. But yeah, that's an interesting one to check out. She is also known as Auntie Pixelante, and I guess she's most well known for the game, or at least I knew her thanks to Mighty Jill-Off, which is a game that is a homage to the old arcade game Mighty Bomb Jack, but stars a it's got BDSM themes, which is interesting and adult, but wow, this is tough. All these bomb dropping birds is really frantic. So yeah, Mighty Jill's interesting. I might play it because there's a lot to unpack, but in a basic sense, it's a retro style game where you play as a woman, so that fits this stream profile quite well. Yeah, so well, yes, the title is highly suggestive, but let's skim straight past that. Yeah, I knew of that game and that character thanks to Super Meat Boy, because she's a guest character in that. So it's like, who the heck is this? But yeah, it's pretty cool. Oh, there was a vegetable in Subcon, not a coin. Oh well. Yes. So, what was I saying? Yeah. So I guess with regards to Birdo at the time, oops. Okay. So if I pull the lid off that jar, bombs are going to come out, and I've got to use the bombs to try and blow up this. Oh. How good. Yes, excellent. Okay, give me some coins. I'm gonna need more lives. What? No coins. So cruel. Oh. Drop it? Okay. You have to have a space to drop it, it looks like. Yeah, oh good, the stopwatch. Okay, and that guy's just gonna hurt me. I mean, yeah, okay, sorry that I'm not... This is hard. I will get to these topics in a minute. Oh boy. Okay, so yeah, Birdo. Okay, I'll adjust the chat first because it's kind of scrolling off screen. But, yep. Yeah, Tony's saying that, well, I don't know. Yeah, I acknowledge that, Tony. And thanks for sharing. But yeah, it's always a yep. It's just something you got to work out for yourself, I guess. And like, that's okay to be the way you are, and you also shouldn't be pressured into identity things. Anyway, I feel like yep. Yeah, so video games are cool because they let you experience different perspectives, and Zach is speaking to that by saying that he's often finds himself playing as a woman when given the option, not exclusively, but pretty often, and I can definitely relate to that too. And I think that's a big part of sort of working out your identity, because I've seen it with Drew Mackey on Back of the Cereal Box, and I've seen it with with the creator of the webcomic, man, talking about important things while also playing a very hard game. Okay, what's that comic called? I read it all the time. It's called... Hang on a second. I'm gonna have to actually look this up because my brain's being bad. It's definitely called... Yeah, Life in Aggro, which is a fun comic, and it also sort of tangentially documents the creator's transitionary period and many life changes, which are interesting to read about. And it you can sort of see it starting as he reflects on why it is that he often chooses to be a woman when he plays an MMO, and you eventually, and there's like blog posts that sort of go into his feelings as well, and you eventually get to the point where he decides that he's more comfortable as a woman, and he's fully transitioned now, and she's fully transitioned now, but yeah, seeing that journey play out, and how she was able to express herself and find a sense of identity through video games is really interesting. Because yeah, they let you try out things, you know. Oh. Anyway, this topic deserves to be discussed with more attention paid to it, while not also playing a game. But that's what I'm doing. So anyway, yeah. So let's see. Yes, totally. I will get to that, Gibbon. Yeah, I definitely relate to that, Zach. Like, what if we could just snap our fingers and change and just see what it's like, you know? I think that would be very much simpler for a lot of people in working out things for themselves. But, excuse me. Yeah, no, I'm glad that you got get real. You got real. Because, yeah, that's very important to a lot of people, especially if they're in a situation where they find they need to transition. Whew. Yeah, I was saying before the stream that I can get uncomfortable talking about queer issues and queer rights because I'm like cishet, but I like to think that I can still be an ally, and I'm always hyper aware of being insensitive myself, and even just talking about those perspectives without actually experiencing them firsthand makes me uncomfortable. But it's the kind of discomfort that I think I should lean into, because we're not going to make any change or progress unless we really address issues of yeah, that kind of thing. Queer stuff, you know. It's a spectrum. Everyone's a little bit queer, I'm sure. Is this the Mouser that was replaced with... because there's a boss in Mario 2 that is a crab called Claw Grip, or Claw Glip, as the typo in the credits calls him. It, whatever. And yeah, that's something that was added. Claw Grip was added for Mario 2 in Doki Doki Panic. It's another version of Mouser that you fight. Anyway, so Birdo. Like, I get the sense from some queer people that she's kind of an icon for them, but there's a sense of her being reclaimed for that because her initial portrayal is not extremely sensitive. I was reading a blog post on this blog called, and if I could just look that up as well, I've got it right here, transgamersociologist.wordpress.com. Really interesting stuff, and from that first-hand perspective, like I was talking about, I was thinking about what games would be suitable to play on around the day of transgender visibility. So, oh my goodness, this is so difficult. Yeah, so this blog is really cool. Good grief. How about I just get this boss fight done and then we can talk about serious stuff. Oh man. Okay, let's go back a little bit further. Calm down. Pick up a bomb. Throw it. Throw it a bit earlier, probably. The screen flashing doesn't help either. It's very distracting. And I imagine really bad for epileptics. Okay, I can drop bombs from just below the platform. That's going to be a lot easier. So when mouse is on the back, throws them there, I drop them there, but then mouse has to be in the right place. And I can grab them in mid-air, but then I have to be careful. Whew. Damn it, Mouser. So Mouse is another example of a character that was brought into into Yoshi's Island as the little mouse characters, and then from there into Paper Mario, most notably in the form of the optional partner character in Thousand Year Door, Ms. Mouse. And they're just like small versions of Mouser, basically. All right. Oh gosh, I need a drink. Good. All right. So yeah, trans gamer sociologists. They made up a list of trans characters in games, and a little commentary on them from the perspective of a trans woman. And so let's see I'll just read what they have to say about Birdo, who, as they point out, is called Catherine in Japanese. The instruction manual for Super Mario Bros. 2 says, quote, Birdo thinks he is a girl and likes to be called Birdetta. That's the first example of how not to handle a TG character, transgender character. I don't like the use of male pronouns. I can't say for certain, but based on what I see, if Birdo was real, she probably wouldn't like the male pronouns. Most MTF, male to female, trans people don't like male pronouns. The description of Birdo for the Japanese version of Double Dash says, Catherine appears to be Yoshi's girlfriend, ... Or does that mean boyfriend? I don't know if there is a cultural difference that makes that statement okay, but it doesn't sound good to me. Birdo continues to be a recurring character in Mario spin-off games. So that's Tony and Gibbon brought that up in chat a little bit ago. Oh, this waterfall background is horrible. It's really hard on the eyes. So yeah, Mario. Sorry, in oh gosh. In some of the spin-off games later on, Birdo and Yoshi are implied to be in a relationship, or stated, in fact, in the instruction booklet, which is cool. But it just brings up the same issues. So yeah, the main issue with Birdo is that the manual sort of, and by extension, like the minds that created the game and the manual, basically treat it like a joke. Did that article mention Captain Rainbow? Asked Zach. No, it didn't. It just sort of, yeah. No, I know Birdo does turn up in Captain Rainbow, and there's some kind of weird things that happen in that game to do with her gender as well. And it's all kind of not nice. Like, basically, like Zach was saying before, I was kind of thinking that in an ideal world, like, a trans person wouldn't need to identify as trans, because if they wanted to change gender, like, it would be, this is in an ideal world, mind you, like, it would be simple to do so, there would be no stigma, and there wouldn't be any, like, you know, oops, there wouldn't be reactions from people that downplay their choice. But that's not the world we live in, and the reality is that we've got a long way to go for that. But yeah, it seems to be that in Japan at the time, trans women weren't viewed as real women, and that you can see that from the use of, and obviously it was the case in the West as well, because in the localization they kept the same sentiment in the manual, that like Birdo presents as a woman, but like here's the secret, he's actually a man, and like his choice means nothing because of his biology, which is totally not nice. Like, it's so wrong. And it just seems so mean-spirited too, the way it's written sometimes in these manuals and such. And you actually get the same issue later on with Vivian in Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, where she's stated to be like it's handled in the same way, where this character appears to be a girl, but actually it's a boy. So haha, like it's a big joke. And all of that nuance was, in that case, completely removed from the English localization, and she's just referred to as a woman all the way through. Oh no, I can't go down ladders with a bomb, and I can't drop them down either. This is tricky. What about this? So I guess the point is that Birdo wasn't treated with any kind of respect in the initial release of the game, but queer people have managed to like still take the character as a kind of symbol or role model or whatever. Maybe not role model, but like it's important for people. Oh, now I'm trapped. Anyway, so like it's just it's difficult because the character is problematic, but how do I do this? This is really like puzzly. Where did I save? I'll just see what I can do out here. I'll go back above ground, I think. No, I don't think I can. Alright, I'll do better. Okay. Oh, no, that's not right. I need to do this. Okay, so let's see, what was I saying and what's my point? My point is that I don't know. Basically, I don't like the way that Birdo is presented from the minds of the people who created her, but that doesn't mean that you can't still take that and find something positive out of it, you know? And I feel the same way about a lot of other characters, like Crystal in Star Fox is kind of treated like a sex object, but I still like her as a character more than, like, beyond what she was portrayed as in the games, if that makes sense. Yeah, you have to take the good with the bad. But maybe sometimes you can just ignore the bad and just take the good. I don't know, can you? So yeah, the way that Birdo's talked about in the manual makes it obvious that yeah, she's not being respected. Yeah, in the KC Deluxe Mario manga by Motoyama Kazuki, which I love a lot and is really fun in terms of the characters and stuff. It's not good about Birdo because she pops up a lot, but whenever she does, characters sort of react in horror at finding out that she's not like really a woman, or they kind of make fun of her ugliness and stuff. And they often refer to her with the word okama, which is a Japanese word that seems to refer to transvestites. So that's sort of denigrating her and not allowing even the possibility that gender can change, or that genders can be assigned wrongly, or that dysphoria can happen, or anything like that, by just saying, oh, it's a man who's dressed as a woman. Isn't that a funny joke? And that's really harmful. But Gibbon's got a good thing in the chat, because he brought up you know, to take something positive out of it instead of just complaining about the oh, that hurts me if that happens. Okay. Yeah, so Gibbon brought up Poison and Roxy, who are also mentioned. They're the next one in this article, actually, on Trans Game Sociologist. They're another character from almost the same era, who has a lot of weird gender things wrapped up in her, because it's... So Poison is in Final Fight? She later shows up as a playable character in Street Fighter X Tekken and some other one, maybe. So, you know, Capcom fighting games and brawler games. So she's very clearly a woman, but as Gibbon says, like, the way that she's presented is like it's okay to hit her because she's not really a woman. She's actually a trans woman, so she's really just a man, so like it's fine. Again, the English localization sidestepped the whole issue by just replacing Poison and Roxy with male character models. So yeah, that's just, it's not good, but as Gibbon says, like, whenever it's possible to play as Poison, he does, because he likes her as a character. And yeah, stuff. Whew. Okay. Actually, that brings up another thing I was going to talk about, which is Samus. And there's sort of an interesting interview that... Not an interview, like, it was unearthed in the last few years. I remember it happening, where, I don't know if it's like the character designer of Samus or something. Hang on a second. There's a lot of chat, so I'll just go through it a bit. Yeah, So Gibbon says that people need to be more comfortable and even blasé about LGBT folks speaking about their relationships as casually as cishet people do, because of that a teacher who was fired for talking about her wife in a class, and it's a completely awful double standard, because if a straight person talked about their spouse, that would be fine. Like, it's terrible. And Gibbon even worries about mentioning the fact that he's had boyfriends when just chatting with co-workers. And yes, I can definitely relate to that. Yeah, well, not 100%, but yes. Being careful about talking to other people. Yeah. And yeah, Gibbon talking about Birdo in Captain Rainbow. It's cool that she's a main character, but her initial intro quest is getting her out of jail because she's been arrested for entering the woman's restroom even though she's a man, quote unquote. And you have to retrieve her can I say sex toys on a family-friendly stream? I just did. Yeah, and it's like pixelated out, and it's like coyly, or what's this? Oh, it actually proves she's a woman. And as Zach points out, men can use them too. Yeah, skipping past the explicit comments. Yes. Oh yeah, that's right. So Gibbon, yes, the mindset that trans folk are just men in dresses is still fairly common. And yeah, the fact that it's a common source of humor in many cultures, I think is actually harmful in the long run for actual trans people. But yeah, it is still common. And he goes on to say, is this just repeating, or am I actually making progress? Nope, I'm making progress. He's saying J.K. Rowling was in some hot water for just liking a post on Twitter that was yeah, it's the trans exclusionary feminism thing where women complaining. So as Gibbon says, it was a post from a woman complaining that quote unquote men in dresses were benefiting from modern feminism. So yeah, trans exclusionary feminism is bad. I'm going to go on the record and say that. So when I did my stream talking about women creators of video games from the 70s and 80s, one of the ones I talked about was Danielle Bunsen Berry, who created the game Mule. Oopsie. And how like basically trans women are real women, full stop, nothing more to say about it. Yeah, when I archived that video onto YouTube, it ended up getting a dislike, which I was surprised by, because my videos really don't get that many views anyway. So I comforted myself by saying, oh, that's just a nasty person who's given me that because I said something about trans people. That's kind of... Now that I think about that... yeah. It was kind of an egotistical thing, like, oh, like, I don't like that people don't like me. It's just because I said something quote unquote controversial. Because I know there's people out there who would disagree with that. So yeah, I don't know. This game's getting more complicated. Let's see. Yes, so I don't know if that is the case, but and it's probably really, yeah, it's probably kind of terrible for me to think that, but eep. But I stand by it and stuff. So yeah, that's actually so yeah, Gibbon's responding to the Samus thing because I don't remember the details at this point, but I know that there was a thing that came up where it was possible that Samus was to be regarded as a trans woman, and it stemmed from, I believe, a comment by either the character designer or something that was unearthed that described her as a new half, which is again a Japanese term that it's kind of rooted in a kind of racism, like othering culture, where a half Japanese person would be known as a half, the English word half in Japanese, to sort of downplay or like, you know, it's an identity thing, like this person shouldn't be taken as seriously because they're only half Japanese. And in this case there's oh gosh, so that Sparky's going around the cherries, but it stops there and then, oh, okay. Whew. Yeah, so new half was a term that it was like a new kind of half where this person is half man and half woman. So again, it's sort of not acknowledging that it's like othering them and alienating them because they're not quote unquote real one gender or the other. So I sort of reacted to that description of Samus negatively, and I told myself at the time that it was because I was reacting to the spirit in which it was intended, or at least my interpretation of it, which it's really, who can know what they were really intending. But yeah, I didn't feel comfortable about it because, yeah, this is the Grey Mouser. I think this is the one that was replaced. Because like I was saying about Japanese attitudes to these issues, they're not always the most sensitive, obviously. So when Samus is described as a new half, like Gibbon was saying earlier, it's okay to hit these people because they're actually men. I kind of thought that the intention might have been that, oh, the only reason that Samus is a competent and like strong character is, oh, it's because she's really a man, like, haha. Like the secret was that she's a woman, but that's not true. So it seemed to be sort of taking something away from women, but I kind of had to, yeah, so Gibbon's saying the same thing, apart from the language used in it. He says he doesn't like it because it removes her identity as a strong female lead and says, oh, it's only this good because she's a man. But I've sort of, in like, you know, we all have to kind of analyze our own ideas and prejudices, and I've been trying to process the fact that, like, again, it's the sense of trans women are real women. So even if Samus is a male to female transgender person, then she can still be a strong role model for women, you know? So that's just something I've had to process for myself, but like, it's it's still a little uncomfortable for those reasons. The reasons that we said about how it was intended. Yeah, so I think Gibbon's kind of agreeing with me there, that that's not how it was intended. And certainly in the case of Samus, that has been retconned heavily since then. It was never really officially true, I don't think. But what was interesting about the story coming out at the time was how people reacted to it and the amount of sort of backlash there was over it. And it's all wrapped up in the gender politics and the transgender politics, and it's very fraught topics, obviously. But yeah, some people were very excited to hear this, and other people were very angry about it, and there was some nuance in the middle. And yeah, it's I'm very squirmy talking about it right now even. Oh, all right. So we finished the first 3 worlds as Mama. So if we want to get this game done, oh wow, yeah, I've been going a while. Let's try and push through as best we can and see if we can get to the end. And I'm at 6-1. Is there a warp that can sort of fast track this? Otherwise we might go a little bit longer than normal, which is about the 2-hour mark. Yeah, I've passed the last warp, which is from 5-3 to 7. But that's okay. Zach says, nuance in the middle, the story of my life. Yeah, okay, so that was the discussion that I felt we needed to have. And like I said, I wanted to play this game because of Birdo and because of Trans Day of Visibility, or Day of Trans, whatever. I don't remember the exact title of it, but yeah, it's an interesting not holiday, day. It was invented by a trans woman who, there was an existing like day of recognition, but it was sort of a memorial day for remembering violence against trans people, and she wanted a positive day to offset that and have something that people could feel positively about. So that was March 31st, and I thought that was a good catalyst to play this game, see Birdo in action, talk about her a little bit, and yeah, we can cover more of that actually as we go on. But yeah, there's a trans awareness week, which is the second week of November, but I saw this day and I just decided to go for it. So maybe in November we can play something else, but like we said, trans representation in games is kind of lacking, and I can see what I can do, but yeah, we do the best we can. And yeah, and it's not just on particular days that we should only talk about these issues, but it provided like I said, a catalyst for talking about it, an excuse for me even just to think more about these issues and to process them and bring them into a discussion. So yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Oops. Have I played the Atlas game, Catherine? No, that comes up in the Trans Gamer Sociologist article, and in fact, I could read that for you if you like. In terms of, yeah, because we talked about poison before. Blah 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 blah. Oh yeah, there's an unfortunate thing where her poison's identity is different in between the Japanese version and the localized version, and some unfortunate language is used there as well. But let's see. Yeah, the point that this author makes, and I'll get her name just so I can be Teresa Garcia. So Teresa says, yeah, yeah, the interview that they're talking about about poison, implies that she hasn't had reassignment surgery, so she's not really a woman, but at least uses female pronouns. So it's could be worse, but there's room to improve, is Garcia's words there. Yeah, so blah, 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 blah. Oh yeah, Kaine is in here as well, Gibbon. I noticed you tweeting a few things about her since you've been playing Nier. She's an interesting character. Oopsie. She's another different kind of queer spectrum person in that she's intersex. Yeah. She's in the article. Like, intersex is not trans, but she's in the article anyway. Yeah, it is different. I agree. But it's it's part of that spectrum, I suppose you could say. And yeah, stuff. But yeah, Erica Anderson is on here, and as Teresa Garcia says, continuing their streak of handling transgender characters poorly, Atlas brings us Erica in 2011 for Catherine. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, she has nightmares that only male characters get. I don't know what that game mechanic is, but it's basically, yeah, treating her as not a woman, quote unquote. Yep. So, like, on the one hand, having them there is... having trans people there in games could be considered like a good thing and positive. But on the other hand, it's the way that they're talked about and the way that they're handled can be really not a good thing. So now we've got a green Birdo. Ouch. So this one doesn't spit any eggs at all, it's all fireballs. So you have to use the mask blocks, which are mushroom blocks in the Mario 2 version, to damage her. Not so. Yeah, it's pretty difficult. Let's see. Yeah, so Gibbon's talking about... okay. Marvel has made Iceman gay, he says. Sorry, I don't know the story on this, so I'm trying to interpret your comment. He's saying, give us our own heroes, don't co-opt other people's. So you would have preferred them to make a new character instead of just converting an existing one into being a quote-unquote, like, into being gay. He's saying DC is much better about that for some reason, despite being worse in real life in terms of human relations. Yeah, that's another thing I noticed you tweeting about is Batwoman a lot. She's, yeah. DC character Batwoman is a lesbian. So that's cool. Yeah, that's the quote I'm talking about, Zach. In Japan, yeah, like, it's not worth talking about, really. Because one thing, it's her business. It doesn't matter whether or not someone's had the surgery. Like, that's their business. I need another bird to come through here. Respawn me, birds. I think there's a level like this in Yoshi's Island where you ride a goonie. So that's another way that things have carried over. Yeah. I really like this, like, subset of Mario games. Oh, I did a nice little tricky wall jump there. Maybe I need to ride a bird back, actually. They might not spawn coming left or right. Yeah, we're gonna have to go back. Yeah, this little subset of Mario games, which has Mario USA, Yoshi's Island DS, Paper Mario 1 and 2, and Super Princess Peach. And how there's some, overlap with characters there. I find that cool. A lot of characters that get ignored by the rest of the Mario series. Yeah. Yeah, we all have to have that moment, don't we, Zach? He says he was playing Catherine when it was new and he hadn't really had much perspective on transgender people at the time. Oh, and I believe you should be saying transgender, not transgendered, because it's something that they are, not something that has happened to them. That's how it was described to me, so yeah, bit of terminology for you. Yeah, we're all like that at a time, aren't we, before we have experience. Some of us never have experience with transgender people in our whole lives. Yeah, no worries, just cool. I have actually known a few transgender people. I wish I still was in contact with them. I asked an internet friend, Parry Queen, what she thought about Birdo on a Discord chat, and her response was, I don't care about the character at all. I have no opinion. So that didn't help me on how trans people feel about Birdo, because individuals have their own opinions, and yeah, she just didn't care. So that was fine. But I was reminiscing on my time in university and how I had a social group there that included a trans woman, and I wish I kept in contact with any of the friends that I'd made in that time, because I'm just not, and you know, that's okay. That happens. But yeah, it was a good time when you could have social interactions with a group of people so casually, just because of your circumstances. That's a scary cave. I mean, this particular person was a complete weirdo, but that's not because she was trans, it was because she was weird. Yeah, so Zach's saying for the case of the character in Catherine, it was a change of pace to see a transgender character who was just a normal person, just living their life, and he thought that was a net positive, possibly. It doesn't negate the possible negative impacts, but it, I think in terms of the fact that it changed your mind and it made you think in a different way, that's definitely a positive. So, yeah, I'd agree with that in that sense. So Gibbon says Batwoman, and a version of Green Lantern who was in the New 52 but is now no longer around, called Alan Scott, who has a cute half-Asian boyfriend. This sentence structure is throwing me off, but I think what he's saying is, yeah, there's basically two prominent queer characters in DC Comics, but one of them hasn't been around much since November of last year. Yeah, I was just rephrasing what you said, Zach. Cool. But yeah, he says it was a jumping off point for him. And yeah, I definitely know a few more trans people in online circles by now. So it's interesting. Oh yeah, and a friend of a friend as well. Although I have never met him, so... Oops. Well, this bit's tricky. Yeah, stuff. So Alan Scott is apparently the original Green Lantern, but they sort of they had new takes on characters in New 52. Well, isn't that sort of the same thing you were talking about with Iceman, Gibbon? They just sort of retconned the character and made him gay. How is that different? I'd like to know. Justify yourself, man. Oh, okay. He's Gibbon saying DC has some other high-profile LGBTQ characters as well. No, not at all. Okay, that's good, but yes, I'm not familiar with these characters and stuff. So yeah, sorry. That shouldn't have been like a challenge. It was more just me being confused. Yeah, take that. Ah, fireball. Dang. Okay. Ouch. Okay. But yeah, I mean, that's a good point, Zach. LGBTQ people are just normal people. They don't have to be like represented as campy or, I don't know, stereotyped in any way. They're just people. And there's a lot of newer games where their queer identity is just like a background part of the character and not really important to their whole being. But there's, yeah, so there's more representation these days, but there's still a fair share of criticism in different ways for representation. And yeah, some of that's covered on that same blog post that I've been talking about. And elsewhere on the internet. Don't take my word for it, because I am just another cishet guy. Now, if you'll notice, I did skip past it right there, but on that intro screen, there's only 2 levels in this world, and instead of the usual 3. And that's possibly because the last page was ripped out of the book. See? Yeah, clever. Or maybe they just ran out of time in development. Who knows? Presumably there was a deadline for this game because it was based on the Dream Factory event. So they might have rushed the ending. I don't know. Who knows? I'll get a coin. So yeah, some cool set pieces in this game. What is it going to give me here? Take out these sparks. Oh, okay. The New 52 Alan Scott is not the same Alan Scott. That Alan Scott still exists, and they recently brought him back, multiverse stuff. So yeah, I guess it's a different iteration of the character in the multiverse. So that's allowed. And comics do that crap all the time, man. Okay, so that area was not the answer. So what do I have to do here? Do I go down here? Nope. Do I pick this up? There's got to be a trick to this. Subspace? Maybe if I bring this over here? Yeah, I'll get another heart. Yeah, so the difference is, he says, with Marvel, they actively retconned the quote-unquote real Iceman, the current Iceman, to say that he is and always has been gay and just being closeted about it, and the stories about it in his solo series were not handled the best in my opinion, says Gibbon. Okay, so thanks for clearing that up. I understand better now. Alright, I think I gotta ride a bird over and get over that gap, maybe. That might be it. Meh. So I'll get on this roof and wait for a bird. Okay. So yeah, it does often come down to writing, like you say, how they handle it. So that's unfortunate. Like, they're trying to get representation and add characters who are queer, but if they do it badly, it can backfire. Oopsie. That's okay. Here we go, another rocket. I remember this. I remember this bit from GCCX, actually. So I think the cherries is what spawns either the heart or the star to appear floating up from the bottom of the screen. Notice some interesting folding level design here. It's kind of cool. Deal with you. Oopsie. I did not deal with that very well. Ouch. Run through. Start every 5 or so cherries, says given. Okay, rewind, please. Alright, before I picked up this guy. Sniffet. Sniffet's, of course, in the Super Mario Brothers movie. Ah, dang. Where the garbage men, they had big gas masks on and they drove a dump truck, which Mario, Luigi, and Spike and Iggy stole to get into the city. That's actually a pretty similar situation to the friend I mentioned at university. But okay. So this is interesting. I have to make a stack of masks to get higher, but if I do, I will release that spark there. So yep, that's gonna happen. Oh, okay, I could kill them. That works. So let's go back to 2 health, and I'll do that again. Ouch. Ow, dang it. This game is challenging, and I like it. As I mentioned in our Discord chat, this might be the worst version of the Mario USA game, but on the other hand, it actually has gender parity in terms of its playable characters. There's 2 men and two women, so it might actually be the best. Because yeah, like I said, Mario 2 was released in the US and other countries on the NES. And then it was released everywhere, including Japan, on the SNES in Mario All-Stars. And then it was re-released for the SNES on the Satellaview as BS Mario USA, some subtitle or other. And then again on the Game Boy Advance as Super Mario Advance 1. And every one of those releases added content, it added aesthetic elements that weren't present in the original. So they're all revisions. Of course, you have the trade-offs with the Game Boy Advance where the screen space is smaller, the colors are all washed out, the sound is worse. The Birdo respawned. Weird. But yeah, all of them have the Mario, Luigi, Peach, Toad setup. Yeah, that seems pretty. Zach's talking about how they handled the situation in Catherine with the trans woman, and it sounds like they didn't handle it very sensitively. Hello. How's it going? Oh gosh, a conveyor belt. I think we might be nearing the end. So yeah, Birdo, she has been a playable character, like I said, in some of the sports games and stuff, but not often enough, you know. Bring Birdo back. She wasn't in Mario Kart 8, obviously, because that game has a really awful roster. Go. Damn. Okay, go. Yeah. She's in possibly my favorite Mario spin-off game, sports game. Mario's, what's it called? Slam Basketball? Or Hoops 3-on-3? Or something else in Japan? It's the basketball one on DS, it's great. Okay. It has Birdo and Dixie Kong. Unprecedented. The only game with a roster that beats 3-on-3 is baseball. And with 3-on-3 you also get the Final Fantasy crossover characters, which is cool. But baseball just has bloody everyone in it, it's great. Of course they never released that one in PAL territories because only Japan and America care about baseball, so we didn't get it at all. GameCube or Wii, 2 iterations. Yeah, Mario Hoops 3-on-3 is the American title, and I do own the American version because I imported it, but I know it's got a different title in, I think it's Mario Slam Basketball in Europe. Ow? Excuse me? What is this room about? Yes, I agree with Gibbons' assessment of Zach's description of the Catherine plot and treatment. He says it's presented as lighthearted, but that's pretty messed up. Yes. Oops. Okay, jump here. Super jump? No. Well, let's just keep moving. Maybe I'll get to spend a life at some point to get my health back. Okay. Of course, the 2 female characters in this game are unambiguously in relationships with the male characters. Doesn't mean they're not bi, but oops! But they're in straight relationships. Okay, get past the sparks. I need a key. This is getting delightfully devilish. Ah, here's a key. Yes. No. Oops. That was a fireball. That was a good sprite. Okay, so this way. Oh, this is rough. So rough. Save. Okay. Yes. Gibbon says, bi people don't exist at all in games. That's not strictly true. There's a list on Wikipedia. Oh, no way, I got caught by the trap. There's a list on Wikipedia of LGBT characters in video games, and it's a huge list. And I did notice some bisexual people in there, but if I had to guess, like, I didn't read it too closely, but I would guess that a lot of them are in, like, your character creator games where it doesn't matter what gender you are, like, they'll date you or whatever. Oopsie. Wow, this is devious. You expect to go through these masks and now one of them's attacking. Oop. Oh yeah, Korra from The Legend of Korra was on the list. It's not presented in the game at all, but she's bi. She's in a couple of games. One of them was only released in America, to my great annoyance. Alright, so here we go. Here's the Dream Factory. The Dream Machine is what's on the floor here. That's what Mamu has taken over and perverted for his own devious purposes. Not deviant, hopefully. You know, not that there's anything wrong with being a giant frog. So yeah, the Dream Machine for some reason is helping me here by spitting out vegetables, and Mamu hates vegetables. They're his weakness for some reason. So yeah, this is the final boss, and we're gonna do it. Actually, let's die and get our health back. Yeah. Zach's talking about a reference in Life is Strange to the fact that bisexual people exist, and it stood out to him because, yeah, seeing it referenced at all in a game was unusual. Yeah, so both Zach and Gibbon are bi. I don't know if I should... is that private information? I don't know. They've actually said that during this chat, so I guess it's fine. Oh yeah. Zach thinks that bi women are acknowledged more often than bi men. I think you're right. And if you're unlucky, it's acknowledged in the sense that, like, ooh, it's exotic and titillating. Okay, so the trick is you throw the vegetable into his mouth as he opens it to spit bubbles at you. But I cannot get that. I would have liked to get more hearts on the way here, but I didn't quite manage it. There were some subspace areas, but I didn't do it right, I guess. There we go. Is it just 3? Oh! Okay, it's more than 3, and I got hit too many times. So let's go back to having more health. Okay. Oh boy. Nuts. Ah. When is this? I think I saved after hitting him. I'm terrible. Emulators. You know, I didn't think I would get this far, but I have. There was an English patch for the game, but I had trouble applying it because Famicom Disk System games, which this is on the disk system, you would have seen that when it talks about writing on the disk and stuff, or reading from the disk. And the intro's cutscene, of course. Yeah, so this is on the Famicom Disk System, and apparently they're weird about the headers of the ROMs, and so the patch only works on a certain checksummed ROM, and like I couldn't get the right one, and I read something that said, oh, you might have to hex edit the header so that it's the right, so it's in a fit state for patching, and I couldn't do that properly. So I decided not to go with the English patch at all. It doesn't really change anything except the title screen and... Well, okay, so that's the thing. It changes the title screen in the 1.0 version of this translation mod, and I found a ROM that had already been patched that had the 1.0 on it. But then there's a 1.1 that has more changes, and in the notes for that it says that the 1.01 doesn't even change the text in the ending because they didn't realize there was text in the ending. So the point is that this ending is going to be in Japanese, but I'll, you know, it's not going to be too difficult. Okay, so this cutscene is still there in the end. You release all the little fairy people who are the subcons. So that's still in the Mario 2 version. So yeah, thank you, Lina. Now set side A. So it's going to make us go back to the start, pick another character, and play through the whole game again. And then we'll get more of an ending and the credits if we beat it with all 4 people. I'm not going to do that today. So that's going to be the end of the stream. We'll round up what's happening in the chat, and that'll be it. So yeah, Gibbon has remembered some examples of bi people in video games, but most are pretty recent. Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition. I remember reading about that and reading that there was a lot of criticism about that as well, which is a story you're going to see a lot when you're talking about queer representation, because people do it wrong. Go figure. So yeah, Borderlands and Battleborn characters. He's saying there have been some queer ones. They're pretty much all women, he says, and he likes to attribute those characters to his ex who worked for Gearbox, and she is also queer. So yeah, I do notice like that even in queer circles, bi people are sometimes looked down on and not recognized as valid. So that's unfortunate as well. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, and Gibbon's saying that a lot of the characters he's thinking of are just from American companies. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that we've got a long way to go in terms of representation. But even if the intent is questionable, we could still appreciate a character like Birdo. Her identity, her courage in transitioning and being a strong and capable character through it, and her relationship with Yoshi, which speaks well to Yoshi's character as well. Yeah. There was that thing about toads being genderless, but I think that was misquoted. It was more like they originally thought that toads wouldn't be gendered, but as the characters would develop more, it was decided that they were at some point. I don't know. It's pretty clear though in modern depictions that Toad is male, and then you have characters like Toadette, who's explicitly female. So yeah, stuff. Yeah, Gibbon's talking about his experiences as bi people, as a bi person in the LGBT community. It's not the best. Well, I support you for what that's worth. And yeah, Zach says, once a character exists, the best you can do is attempt to recontextualize them, in my opinion. Yeah, sometimes that's all you can do. And that has happened with Birdo to an extent, as I explained. Yeah, so that's it. I'll call the stream there. Check out transgender socialist, transgamer sociologist.wordpress.com. Check out Anna Anthropy's games. What else did I have here? Check out Super Mario Bros. USA. It's a cool game. I would recommend the All-Stars version because it's improved on this, but yeah, like I said, there are a few things that were actually cut from that version compared to this, including gender parity, but also the enemies screaming when you kill them. Yeah. Yes. I feel for you too, Zach. I'm sorry that you have to experience that kind of thing. Zach says his favorite is Super Mario Advance. Yeah, I explained my problems with that game, and it's generally the same problems I have with every port to the Game Boy Advance. The platform has tons of great games, but any game that came there from the Super Nintendo ends up worse, even if there's extra content. So at best, it's a trade-off. But even extra content is not enough when the main experience of playing all the content that was already there is worse, and that's my opinion about it. Yeah, but I've been going a long time, so we're gonna end the stream now. Thanks for joining me. This has been the special trans edition of oh gosh. Before I put my foot in my mouth anymore, I'm gonna sign off. So thanks for joining me, and we'll be back with more games about women next week. Yeah, and thanks for contributing to the discussion, Zach and Gibbon. There were a lot of sensitive topics to talk about, and I hope I did an adequate job of representing some perspective there. Woo! But it was pretty stressful. Yes. Because, again, I'm afraid of putting my foot in my mouth, because I often do. Okay, bye-bye.